All right. Sorry, I was late to get into this. So, hey, everybody.
Hello. Hey, Josh.
Hey, hey, hey. Larry, you shaved.
Yeah, I did.
I did
Oh,
too.
wow.
I did too.
I didn't like it.
I don't like this. I
That's the
don't,
first time I've ever had any facial hair.
really?
My whole life, yeah.
Well, I told Brandy.
Mary looks happy too.
Yeah. I told Brandy every time I shave, which is usually only like 1 or 2 times a year, it reminds me why I hate shaving. so usually I don't like doing
it.
it. Hey Cassie, hey Butch.
That's the reason I came on Zoom so I could see Larry's butt.
It was getting popularity, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was bit rough.
Hey Tony.
It's like the winos, that's what I look like.
I thought about growing a beard, but Francis said I didn't like it.
She told you what you liked, right? Yeah. Oh man.
Gosh, it took Mary a lot longer to say I'd got a shave than it did you. So
Hey Leanne, hey Kevin, hey Tammy, hey Betsy. You got a good group over here on Facebook. That's good. Okay, well we'll go ahead and get started. First, I want to let y'all just remind y'all about the communion. I'm gonna go ahead and mute y'all for right now. Just the communion on communion night on Sunday night. That's at did I say 6 or 6:30? If you don't want to unmute yourself and tell me, I don't remember what I put down. 6 or 6:30. 6:30. Okay. Yeah. I'm a mess today. Yeah, 6:30. So what we're gonna have is right behind me. We're underneath the trees. We're gonna have 3 stations. And so the first station we're gonna have some scripture, and then the next one we'll have either the elements or prayer, and then the last one will be either elements or prayer. So we're going to have our deacons out there. I'll be out there directing, kind of helping everybody along. But it's going to start at 6:30. We'll stay out there for as long as we need to, not too awful long. But we have all the deacons except for one, so that's really good. So we'll have all of them there as well. So please come on out for that, and invite people that you would like to. That you want to. I mean, it's not just for First Baptist people. It's for anybody who'd like to come. So feel free to share it on Facebook, and let some family and friends know if you like. We're just communion is a big Christian thing. I mean, it's a big thing for all of us. So it's important, I think, that a lot of us get a chance to do it, no matter if we're attending the church or not. It's a special time, so please feel free to share it and let people know.
Josh?
Yeah.
What are the alternative plans in case it rains?
We're gonna move it. We're gonna move it a Saturday, yeah, or Sunday to the next Sunday, yeah. So yeah, that's thank you for that, Francis. Yeah, if it rains, then we'll move it to another Sunday. So, but yeah, so we'll be working on that for Sunday night, and then next week we're going to the beach with Brandy's family for just a couple of days. So if you all, so I'm not gonna have a Wednesday night check-in next week. Just I don't know what the internet at the beach is going to be like, so I'm not even going to try to do that. But we're going for a few days, not going out anywhere, so don't worry about that. We're going to be very, very careful. So those are a couple of the announcements that I had. I wanted to just let you know today Sheila Capel had her gallbladder taken out. I took her to the hospital this morning, and we we hung out all day and then came back around 4. So she's doing okay. Her mom's got her now, so that's a good thing. So just be in prayer for her. She's recovering from that. She had been sick for a while because of that. So just be in prayer for her. Outside of that, I don't have anybody that has made anything mention to me other than Candy let me know that her nephew did a really good job at the chemo treatment. She sent me a picture of him. He was just smiling and happy and just really glad to be just to be done with it for right now. So they're going to look a little bit later at his scans and see how that cancer is doing with the chemo being done. So what are some prayer requests or things that you like me to mention tonight? Everybody good? Okay. Seems like everybody's pretty good. That's a good thing. Well, let me open us up with a word of prayer, and then we'll kind of just have a discussion based around reopening. So let me pray for us. Lord God, we thank you for some time together. We thank you that as we gather knowing that you are with us, that your Holy Spirit is amongst us, and that no matter where we are, that we are still your church, that we are your hands and feet in this world. Lord, I just thank you for those who have joined us tonight and those who are not able to. Lord, I just thank you that they are fulfilling the church's role in this world to share love and grace with those in need, to bring a light into the darkness of this world. Lord, I thank you for just this time to gather where we can share our lives together in this way. So just be with our time together as well as our discussion as we look to the future with our church and the plans that we may have. Be with us now. It's in Jesus Christ and we pray. Amen. Oh yeah, Cassie, I'm sorry. Cassie Tapia said that she had sent me a message. There was a young boy had a car accident and he's in the ICU, and it's on my phone, which I'm on, so I can't grab the name. But this is somebody that Cassie knows. So last several weeks, the deacons and I have been kind of having this conversation about reopening, and a lot is going into that. There's a lot of things to consider, and I kind of wanted to just share with you to start with some of the things that we've been talking about. Okay, Jonah Monk, that's the little boy who was in the car accident in ICU. So just some of the things that we've been discussing, that we've been throwing out, because there's a lot of things to consider. It's not just a matter of reopening the doors and, wiping down some Lysol and being done. I mean, there's a little more to it than that. Because what we've discussed is the fact that a choir in our choir loft is not going to be able to social distance, as well as when they sing, that goes pretty far away from your body, and that can everybody that would be facing them would be subject to the virus. So that's one thing that we've talked about is and then the same goes for congregational singing, because how do you, unless you have your mask and singing congregationally, that might work, but even then some stuff may come out. And so, how do you deal with that? Because there's going to be people in front of you. And then we also talked about roping off the pews, so every other pew. And then that gets into the fact that there'll be less seating. And so how many people are we going to sit? How many people are we going to allow in? Are we going to block off certain places where they can and cannot sit? Not just the every other pew, but then on the pew, where how are we going to have people sitting? We talked about, obviously it'd be very difficult to have kids ministry, really anything, because kids, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it for school. I mean, it's, that's a whole big conversation right now. And for me, it seems impossible, but for even the kids ministry in our area down in the nursery, that's going to be difficult, because of how small it is, how small space it is. You can go outside, but then, there again, the kids will be touching each other, running around. They don't get it. Belle doesn't get it. She wouldn't get it. She would be all over anybody that was in 2 feet of her. That's just the way she is right now. But then even easy, smaller things like shaking hands, fellowship, at the front of the church, when people come in, we greet them, hand them a bulletin. That wouldn't be an opportunity to do that either, because you would be passing germs along from one person to the next that way. And so obviously no hugging, which would take away a big part of the fellowship part of church, I think. Then as for logistics about making sure the doors are open, because we don't want everybody touching a door handle. So you want everybody to be able to come in. Restrooms are a whole other thing. So we would shorten the service to where people wouldn't have to use the restroom if possible, because that would be a whole other section of the church that would need to be cleaned up and cleaned down. Passing the plate for the offering, we wouldn't be able to do that. There would probably be places at the doors to go in and out of, that you could drop your offering in, and we would make sure that the counters would have hand sanitizer and gloves or a mask and everything like that as well. So, we see some of these things. And then we also discussed, one of the things that got tossed out was outside services. We've seen some churches do that. The issue that I brought up, and a couple others did too, is if we do outside services, that's feasible. We could do that. We could have people bring their own chairs. We have a place or a sound system that we could trot out in, and as it would be a lot of work, but we could trot it in and out as needed. We probably couldn't record just because of the wireless situation. We wouldn't be able to do that as well. But even if we did it out there outside, we would need to either do it early on a Sunday morning, because I don't know about y'all, but 11 a.m. any day of the week is really hot. It's very, very hot. And then, you got rain as well, that would come into factor. So, we could do it at like 8 a.m. But there again, how many people would be able to show up? So that's, those are some other thoughts that we kept running into with this. So there's a lot, as you can tell, that we've been discussing and going over and trying to think the best course of action. And just in a matter of like 3 days, I saw probably half a dozen articles for and against both going to church, reopening the church, and keeping it closed. Right now, it's in a situation where the whole nation is just surging out of control. So I'm a little reluctant, even though I think we need to reopen, in my personal opinion, not because necessarily because financially we need to. It will become, I think, a financial issue eventually. But right now I think we're okay. But at the same time, it's hard for these, I mean, I'm getting a little fatigued preaching on Sundays to a camera. I mean, really it is. And so, and then Rebecca and I were discussing, you know, Julie only has so many songs that she's going to be able to sing, and then we might have to incorporate some other people to sing. But then, you know, they're going to exhaust some of their songs. So, you know, it's getting to a point where something needs to maybe change. And so, I had thrown out the idea of mid-August. We are still trying to fix that out. We are actually going to have on July 20th, which is the third Monday, is our typical deacon. We're going to have a meeting here in the fellowship hall where we can spread out, because there's only going to be 9 or 10 of us here. So we can spread out in the fellowship hall amongst all the tables, wear masks and everything like that. And really talk it out, talk about pros and cons, kind of have some of this same conversation, continuing this conversation. But I really wanted to give you all an opportunity to kind of give your 2 cents, as it is, to let me know where you all are with this, what you're thinking. Maybe if you've seen some other things that churches have done that have worked, I would, you know, be happy to hear that. But if there's something that that you think about with all this situation, about reopening, take some time right now, and in Facebook, feel free to write in the comments some of the things that you've thought of, or different opinions that you might have. And then Zoom, if you want to just take yourself off Zoom as you have an opinion, that would be good too. So let's go ahead and get started.
Josh, first I want to compliment you and the deacons. I have a great deal of confidence in all of y'all.
Well, thank
Just
you.
listening to you, I can see y'all cover a lot of details. And
Yeah.
I think I speak with Francis. If you open in August, we'll consider ourselves members of First Baptist, and we'll be supportive. But from the numbers I'm seeing, I think we would be absent, but we would be supportive of what y'all do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people.
Personally.
Sure. Well, and I think a lot of people will be in that same situation, and understandably so. You know, we're still going to make sure to have the online. So we got that going on, and we're going to try to continue that. So that will still be available. So, you know, we're not talking about ending the online and just going back to the building, because we found that online really does reach a lot of people that may not normally get to be a part of a church service. So I think it's been a really interesting and neat thing. I have about drove my head into a wall with technology, though, and I've never once thought I would ever say that, because I've always enjoyed technology and all this kind of stuff. It has been a chore, and Larry and David Kellis both know how frustrating it's been, and what we've had to do. So let me look over here. We got a few comments. Cassie Tapia said, "I honestly think the way you're doing things is excellent." Oh, thanks. Appreciate that, Cassie. Bush said, "I would like to reopen, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it with the virus surging." Yeah, I think you're right. I think, you know, whenever. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell you, today, I mean, I've been hearing how bad it is in Montgomery County, but I really got a true awakening today. I had the doctor's visit, and actually, I think I broke my foot, my toe.
Oh, gosh.
And, it's okay. The doctor was sending me to the emergency room or to the hospital to have an x-ray done.
Yeah.
When I got in there, of course, they checked my temperature. They asked me if I'd had a COVID test. I told him I had one last week, but had not results. Because of that, they would not even do an x-ray today. They would
Really?
not let me in at all.
Yeah.
So if things are like that in the hospital,
Yeah.
I don't think I personally would want to get out anywhere.
Sure, yeah. Well, I know going into the hospital today when I took Sheila for her surgery, they had a bunch of different check stations to make sure that everybody was good. I mean, they had a lot of social distancing things. Masks were required, which is, I think, something that we would need to have in place at church if we were to come back. Yeah, whenever I was looking at an article because it was talking about how a lot of mainline churches, moderate, however you want to classify it, a lot of these types of our churches, our kind of churches, are still reluctantly not going back, reopening, but a lot of these other churches are, and you're seeing a lot of issues there. But the guy that I read was talking about how it may still be time to reopen, because otherwise you're going to be falling behind on reaching people and reaching out, and that is a concern, for me. Not necessarily that we're going to lose our core group, like those who are consistent and coming on, checking in on Wednesday nights as well as our services, but some of those that are on the outside fringes may start moving on to another church, and that's a concern for me. I'm being honest about that. So, who else?
Yeah, with my situation, with my lungs.
Yeah.
I couldn't even consider it, and like with Brandy, with being pregnant,
exactly.
It's hard for her to consider. But I think it would be a good idea if you could do the staggering of the benches, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And churches doing that, they've got like if say a couple sits on the left, the one down below will sit way on the right.
Okay.
It cuts back on the numbers, but
Sure.
there's not going to be that many that can come.
Yeah.
But it will give you some support, outward support.
Yeah.
So you have somebody like you're talking to.
Yeah. I know.
Do the online for us that can't be there.
Yeah. I like that idea. That's a good idea, about staggering it like that. I think, that's a good thought. Cassie says, my sister's church does the drive-in service, but they had to move it from 10 to 9 because it was so hot. Yeah, they also had where you could turn your radio on a certain channel to listen. So I guess I don't even know how to see. That's another thing, technology that I don't even want to know at this point after I have so much other stuff I've learned, and I don't have room for it right now in my brain. So Larry, what were you going to say?
They're talking about this stuff may be more airborne.
Yeah.
So inside a building would worry me.
Mm-hmm.
And I get out a lot from food pantry, but I always got a mask on, and I always wash my hands, and I always got a hand sanitizer. I don't worry too much about that because I'm never with anybody more than a few seconds.
Yeah.
Like this disease needs close proximity and time to really pick up. And so I think that's where inside a building with people, and if it's more airborne, it's more out there than we would talk about before. So when you're inside a building, that would worry me. I would not worry about being outdoors. And I realized that the kids always wanted to do devotion outdoors when we went to Castle or to camp. I said, y'all pay attention outdoors.
No.
I have a hard time too, wind blowing. That's nice, but I think it's a bigger undertaking when it's outdoors.
Yeah.
And it'd be hard, but I just think because of some of the nature of the thing, at first all we worried about was making sure all the surfaces were clean.
Yeah.
We cleaned the ones at the food pantry, so we wore the top off of them, but that might not be the best. That might not be the best way to fight it. But when you're too close, some of the churches will bring 20 people in there to pack groceries, and I got to stop there.
Yeah, that's too many.
Much.
That's too many.
And it's too close proximity.
Yeah.
So to me, outdoors is better.
Yeah.
Unless we could find a way. I just
Yeah.
I don't see any way to find a building big enough for anything to do that.
No. Well, and I did that sunrise service for Easter in the cemetery, and I cannot tell you how many takes I had to do because of the wind and because something would fly overhead and like just from recording session that I was trying to do out there was difficult enough, so I couldn't imagine.
It's outdoors is hard.
It is hard.
And
Yeah.
People that do stuff outdoors, if they've never done it before, they'll find out really quick.
Yeah.
Our ensemble sang one time when we had a chicken stew. It was terrible.
And that drives them crazy when they
couldn't hear each other.
Yeah.
And so you have to do things differently.
Yeah.
You have to have the top notch kind of stuff, like everybody in the ear's got to have a monitor or something,
Yeah.
so they can hear each other. It's
Sure.
be a different kind of thing.
Well, over here, Tammy Kellis said, Larry and I agree that putting people at risk is not an option. Yeah, we really enjoy what we're doing and are able to make the Wednesday night services that we may not make otherwise. Yeah, I'm glad you do too. Yes. Hey, Tina. Butch said he's willing to purchase some mannequins to sit in the pews if it helps Josh. I appreciate that. That would be great. That would be really fun. It'd be
How many screens can open up on Zoom?
What now? I'm sorry.
How many of us can be on Zoom together? Like, if everybody got together and dressed up, I mean, I hadn't had on dress clothes at all.
No, like I have basketball shorts on right now. Like this is I'm wearing this in basketball shorts.
I know, just that it would be like something. I mean, we got my screen's full, but there would be a lot more screens if we were.
Yeah, there would be a lot more screens.
On a telephone, it might not be, but I got a pretty big monitor. I can see all good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see it too.
It's one of those things that might pay if we did that. I don't know if Zoom can have 100
Yeah.
people.
Well, we would definitely have to get another computer then because I couldn't do all of it on at the same time. So
Yeah.
that would be something else.
Well,
Some more technology to think about, right?
We have one other option.
What's that?
Back when I was young, went to a country church back in the woods.
Yeah.
Now in the summer we had a lot of revival.
Yeah.
Outside revival meetings, and we had a big tent.
Big tent revival. Yep. Oh yeah.
You did the tent, and you were not in the sun.
Yeah.
But I don't know where we get it.
I know. I was gonna say. I wonder if they even do those anymore. I don't know either.
Might also hold in box. Yes,
It'd be like a sauna, maybe. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Over here, Tina said, I think we should err on the side of caution and continue online services. I think. Okay. Yeah, Cassie. Yeah, I've seen that. Put pictures on the pews of the different families where they sit. I've seen people. I've seen some pastors do that. That's pretty fun. Tony said, I agree with continuing online services. I would do the same thing when I did Google Meets. Oh, Cassie's talking about me wearing my shirt and nice shirt and PJ shorts or pants. Kevin has been on a Zoom meeting with almost 300 people, Larry. That's what Leanne said. 300 people. Yeah, 6 o'clock. That's another time that we could talk about doing some outside services.
Yeah, one of the things that when people come through the food pantry, Billy McCaskill come through and several people came on Wednesday. They just say, when y'all gonna start back there Thursday?
I know they miss it. They really do.
It's that bad.
Yeah.
And, that's good to hear. And but that would almost be impossible.
Yeah, the food, and that's another thing. As much as our church likes to eat together, I mean that's one thing that that's just a whole other thing entirely. Because you see what restaurants are having to deal with.
Only worship instructions Jesus ever gives us. As often as you eat and drink, remember me.
Yeah,
That's the only ones I can see. You don't say nothing about
Yeah.
going to the church or nothing. Just eat, remember who I am.
Yeah, definitely.
I miss that bad.
Oh, yeah, me too, me too. And I tell you, one person that really has, and she's driving us crazy, is Belle. Belle is dying to see people. She comes running up to the UPS guy, to if we order a pizza, to the pizza delivery person, anybody that comes to the door. She needs to talk to, and she needs to see them. We went to Wendy's. We went through the drive-through one day, and she said, "Daddy, roll my window down. I need to talk to that person." It was just a complete stranger at the drive-through at Wendy's, and I was like, "Bill, man, you need to chill out here." She's completely extroverted, and then Joel, we don't see Joel for days. He just stays in his room. So, but anyway, yeah, Betsy, you know how she feels. Yeah. Well, so as you can see, there's a lot of things that we've been dealing with and talking about. If there's been something else, Oliver, same way, yeah. Blowing the girl at McDonald's a kiss, and he told her he liked her mask. Oh, what a cute little Don Juan there. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to consider, and so please know that we are prayerfully walking, trying to figure this out. With the way the numbers have bounced, the way they've surged, it makes that decision even more difficult. Because I just a couple weeks ago, whenever things were reopening, and I was all set. Like, I was all set to go try it, and so I think now it's become a little more difficult. But the deacons and I, we've also been discussing. Oh, hey, Bruce, I see you back here. We've also been discussing some of those that may not have internet. Just a couple of them. Some of the ones that don't have internet access, maybe allowing them to come to the church, if they abide by the social distancing and the mask. And so that's just something that we're tossing out there. We haven't made a decision on that or anything, but
Josh, if you do decide to have anybody in, Bruce said that he would volunteer to sit out there and listen to you preach.
Oh, look at that. I appreciate that, Bruce. Take one for the team, right?
Something Linda said earlier, and I think that the numbers are too high right now in terms of viruses,
Sure.
but I like her idea of having an outdoor service and maybe make sort of a historical moment how churches used to be. And at one time they did just have services under a tree, and
Sure.
there's so much of that in the old revivals used that as a teaching moment.
Yeah.
How that was done, I think that would be super on down the road. Right now I'm about afraid to drive through Bisco.
Yeah. Well, Bisco is a hotbed right now, so.
Yeah. Well, really, back in the summer, it was so hot in the churches that you would go outside.
You have to, right?
So you could have some cool air.
Sure, yeah. Just to have a breeze coming through there, right? Yeah. Well, I think
This physical thing, and when the church has got air conditioning, the sermons on hell decrease.
Well, I think Max. I think Max Luquire. He told me that whenever the church was up at the stoplight, where the I don't know what that church is, but I think it's a Pentecostal Holiness, I think is what it is. But that church, the church First Baptist used to be right there, and that they had this old white building and it didn't have air conditioning, and he was, one of his jobs was opening up the windows, like opening up the wood to let the air through. He told me he used to do that whenever he was a little boy. Yeah, so these are some of the conversations that we're having, and some ideas that we're throwing out. So if you have something that you're thinking about and you want to talk more about it, feel free to call me or call your deacon and talk to them. And then whenever we have our meeting in a few weeks, we'll throw out some of these other ideas. But
some of our people have technology.
Yeah.
I went to see Barbara Langston the other day. We went to pick blueberries together, but she has a phone, and I fixed it so she could get on YouTube, so she could listen to you. She said she couldn't find you Sunday, and I said,
Yeah.
well, I could do that for her.
yeah, no, that YouTube. I messed up on that.
You listen to a lot of the things that were on there, which sometimes, if you got a cell phone, that's a very good. If you got a signal, you can usually get a service, and she could get it. So I think that some people don't have it. Maybe if they need that, I'll be glad to teach them how to find it.
Yeah, and I would too, absolutely. And I think we have plenty of people here that would be willing to walk them through how to do it. And I talked to Barbara about that. She said she had watched a couple of the past weeks. So she was happy about that. So.
Just a reminder about Sunday with the drive-through communion and prayer service. And if anybody's not comfortable coming through the drive service communion, if you would like, the deacons will bring communion to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if there are people that that don't feel comfortable or can't get a ride or something like that, then feel free to just let us know, and we'll be happy to coordinate a group to go over there. Just let us know. We'd be happy to do that. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that.
And the communion won't be touched by anybody. It's
Yep.
really sealed cups.
Yeah, like this right here. So it's got the juice right here, and it's got the little wafer on the top right there. So that's kind of what we'll be passing out, and then whoever's in your car will pray with, and we'll have masks and hand sanitizer out there. So we'll make sure to keep our distance as well. So, so please come on out 6:30 on Sunday night for our evening of communion. I think it'll be a good opportunity for everybody. So, anything else?
Just a comment.
I just think. Go ahead, Dick.
I'm just hopeful that with this surge that people will start taking things seriously and more people will be wearing their masks, and hopefully by the end of August and September, things will be flattening. The curve will be flattening, and so
hopefully, yeah.
But people were saying that opening too soon. This was going to happen. I mean, this was predicted.
Yep.
And so I think seeing the surge, I hope will sink into people and realize that just the simple act of wearing a mask
can cut it down. Yeah, absolutely. Dave Buckland, were you going to say something?
The deacons are going to work with Josh, everybody, and we're looking at different innovative things that we can do so that we still have that one-on-one feeling.
Exactly.
Without the one-on-one.
Yeah.
So if anybody has an idea, let Josh or I know too.
Yeah.
And
we're all about trying to make sure the fellowship.
Discuss it and see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dave.
One thing about Saturday, we're probably going to have to work it because church that has it this week is they got all the older people.
Yeah, Candor Methodist. Yeah.
But if you want to help me at 6:30 on Saturday, you can just leave me a text, or I'm going to leave you one.
There you go. Larry needs some help on Saturday at the food pantry. So, 6:30. Leanne asked, do we enter from the parking lot from Pine Street? Yes, you do. Make sure you come in on Pine Street, turn in our main entrance, and then you're going to come around to the side of the building and then go out to 2427. So that's the way we're going to have it fashioned. I'm going to be out there kind of directing traffic for everybody. So y'all will be, I'll try to make sure y'all are in order and everything's going okay. So, anything else? Well, guys, thank you all for taking this opportunity to be together and just kind of talk about, just float out some ideas and to join in on the discussion that the deacons and I have been having for several weeks now. So just be in prayer for us as we're trying to make the best decisions. And if you have anything that's on your mind about it that you would like to pass along to myself or to your deacon, please do so. We're not trying to be secretive about this or anything like that. We're trying to make the best decision as a church. And so, we may not be able to get together, but we can at least hear other people's voices. And that's the biggest part about what we're trying to do right now. So, please.
Josh,
Yeah.
Have you heard anything recently from Carol's situation? Is she doing well?
Yeah, I talked to her Sunday. I can't remember what day. I'm losing track. But yeah, she said she was rehabbing and just trying to get stronger. I haven't heard if Roy's been able to see her yet, but I know they talk a few times a day. So, but she was supposed to pick up on her rehab this week, so I haven't got a chance to talk to her today.
I talked to John last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the girl that came in on Sunday was tested positive for COVID, and they tested Carol Monday.
Okay.
Tuesday they tested her.
Yeah.
And she came back negative.
Whew.
So
that's good. That's good. No, I hadn't heard that part. Yeah.
I guess Roy tested negative too. So
that's good. Yeah. Well, that's good. I hadn't heard that part of it. I'm glad that she's all right. No. That Roy was talking about maybe going to her window and talking on the phone that way, but I'm not sure where her room is in relation to the rest. Yeah, it's all the way in the back, so I'm not sure where it is. If it's even on a.
Bruce said John went today.
Did he? Did he get to go in?
Grandson said John went down there today. That's all I heard him say.
Okay, did he get to go in? Because I didn't think they were letting him in yet.
He just said John was down there.
Okay.
And one thing too, Roy's not been out very much.
Yeah.
We used to see him a lot, and he's not going out hardly at all. Yeah. So I worry about him.
Yeah, y'all check on him. I mean, yeah, I talked to him the other day, but he's been with Carol for so long. So yeah.
He's had a hard time with his hearing.
Yeah.
His hearing's getting a little bit worse, and they're trying to work on something. John said they were trying to work on something for his hearing. Right?
Yeah, I knew that they were working on something with the phone where it would tell him what was being said. He could read it. But I don't know if he said John was trying to work on that, but I hadn't heard if they got it fixed or not. So.
Is John Beard doing well now? Is he?
Yeah, he's doing good. They I think Devin came last weekend, and so they got to see him, and John's he's bouncing back. He's getting there. So.
And how about Wayne and Molly?
I mean, about the same from what I heard. I called Molly Sunday. Sunday. And she's, Wayne's just, he had carpal tunnel situations Sunday. So, I mean, it's just one thing after another, seems like. But all in all, from what I've heard, it's just much of the same. So.
It hadn't been about a week. You had to pick him up out the floor, hadn't it?
No, I went and picked him up. Yeah, he had a fall and So they called me in about 7 and went and picked him up off the floor. So, but I didn't hurt his back. So I was really worried about that. I was gonna mess his back up, and he'd have to go get another surgery or something. So, luckily, I was as careful as I could be. So, anybody else? Okay. Let me just close this with a word of prayer. Lord God, we thank you for this time together where we can share, where we can discuss, where we can bring our worries and concerns to the congregation and to you. Lord, we lift up those in our congregation and in this community that are struggling, whether that's physical or emotional or mental. We just ask that you be with them, that you let them know that that this is a place where we can show love and grace to them, and that we are open and inclusive of who they are. Allow us to be the hands and feet of Christ, even as remotely as we are. Allow us to do so as best we can. And Lord, to be with us as we're making these decisions. Just do what's best for this church when it comes to reopening, as well as just trying to keep people safe. So be with us now, and we thank you for this time together. It's in Jesus Christ and we pray. Amen. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you. And I'll see you Sunday at 11 a.m. Yeah, I'm going to make sure I do the YouTube right this time. So I appreciate it. I was in a rush. Yeah, I know. I was in a rush, and I logged on my YouTube, not the church's YouTube. So when I started streaming, it was on my YouTube, which I don't even have any videos on YouTube. I just had it through my email, and so yeah, that was the problem. So I apologize. I was in a rush. So yeah. So, but thanks, guys. Thank you all for stopping in and.